Well, hello there, viewers in Viewer World. It is I, Captain Steve, and today, chums, I'm going to give you some channel news for 2021 and what's going to be featuring on my channel. Now, as you know, I feature No Man's Sky quite heavily. That's not going to change. Loads of No Man's Sky and also Cyberpunk. So Cyberpunk, we had this timeline put out, a roadmap of updates just the other day, and they did say patch 1.1 was going to appear within the next 10 days or so. So hopefully before the end of the month is out, we shall see the new patch, and then another patch shortly after that, within the first quarter perhaps, and hopefully that's going to address a lot of the bugs and issues that a lot of people have having on current gen consoles like PS4 and Xbox and that. But hopefully I'm going to be covering off the free DLC and also what the patches actually bring, and I'm looking forward to the PS5 update in the latter part of 2021. So yeah, more Cyberpunk will be coming to the channel in due course. Right, so another game that I've got my beady little eyes on is Tribes of Midgard. Okay, so Tribes of Midgard, it looks like it's got a very sort of Diablo-esque type feel to it. Almost like a dungeon runner, but it's not a dungeon, it's actually outside world. And the actual colour palette and graphical style of this really does appeal to me. This game is ticking so many boxes. I mean, I love Norse mythology and Vikings and that whole sort of area of history, if you like. And this is playing onto the myths to a massive degree. I mean, you've got to stop the Ragnarok from happening or whatever, and you're taking on these giant titans that can appear, and you can work as a collab team to build yourself like a little fortress and take on these sort of giants that appear in the actual world. You get to create your own Viking. There's quite a lot of customization that can go in there, tattoos, weaponry, all sorts of other spells that are going on in the world as well. I mean, if you follow them on Twitter, I put links to their Twitter page inside of the video description, and I'd also put a card to this trailer in full so you can actually hear all the dialogue and what is actually going on in this world, because it looks pretty damn freaking epic. I'm loving a lot of the gameplay elements that they're actually hinting at, and I'm liking the sort of multiplayer aspect that this is going to be bringing to the verse, and yeah, it looks really, really cool. And I love what they're doing. The visual style is what appeals to me the most. I have to be honest. The visual style ticks massive boxes for me. It almost looks like Zelda Breath of the Wild come with Studio Ghibli. It's just beautiful. It looks fantastic, and I'm loving the shaded sort of approach to all of this. And I'm liking what I'm seeing with the gameplay mechanics. I'm liking the sort of varied spells. Like I said, if you follow them on Twitter, you're going to see even more of the spells. Some of the spells are freaking epic. But it's the boss battles that I really like the look of. And I guess you're going to get like a bit of a big boss battle, because they're going to come try and smash your little town, and then maybe a little bit of quiet time where you're taking out little mini mobs and slowly growing your actual encampment before you then get another big boss appear. Now, I have been messaging these people. I've been sending them a few DMs, and they've been quite responsive. And I was asking, well, what's the gameplay loop? What's the end game? Is there an actual end to it? And it kind of feels that no. But the reply I got back is, at the moment, no, it is quite open-ended. You just keep going and going and going, and there's going to be new challenges and things. So I'm really hopeful for this. This looks really good. It's like sandboxy, I guess. But I don't really know for sure. I will reach out to them again. I'm going to send them this video and see if there's anything else they can give me to offer me in way of news, so I can cover this off maybe next month. Okay, so the next game is Biomutant. Now, I don't think this is going to actually appear until probably latter part of 2021, and there's been varied delays with this actual game, and they say it's just going to come out when it's ready to come out. But right back in 2017, they were saying that almost everything in the game was actually complete, the world was complete and so forth, but they wanted to put more in there for the players to interact with. I would like to hope that this is in the final stages and reaching polish, and perhaps we might even see it before the end of 2021. But a lot of the videos that I'm watching at the moment that hint at Biomutant are saying that it is going to be latter part of 2021, or maybe even fall into 2022, because they've got to try and get it working for all of the next gen consoles like PS5 and so forth and so on, because it's been that long in the wings that now they want to get it on all platforms, which I'm liking the fact that they're taking their time with this, especially after recent events. As you know, I cover Cyberpunk, so we've seen what happens if you release a game before it's ready to be released. I'd much rather have a fully polished game that I'm not going to have to play through twice, basically, because you want to play the decent working version, plus you also want to get early footage out. I'd rather have that in one hit. Now, the boss battles in this look epic. It almost looks like Monster Hunter. It really does look cool. So I'm getting sort of Dragon's Dogma type vibes from this, which is another game that I really loved when it comes to the actual monster encounters and things, and how you interact with them and stuff, and how big they are in scale to you as a person. And also, like, you know, Shadow of the Colossus, probably not as big as Shadow of the Colossus monsters. I mean, Shadow of the Colossus are freaking epic, but I love things like Monster Hunter, Shadow of the Colossus, and Dragon's Dogma, and this seems to have those sort of elements in there. Plus, I'm a massive Kung Fu fan. I love Bruce Lee. I love my Kung Fu films. I mean, I've even studied Jeet Kune Do, and I do a little bit of Kung Fu myself, I must say. Yeah, not in any way, shape or form as good as any of these martial artists. But yeah, I really like the nods that this is doing. I like the fact that you can align yourself to all different sorts of styles and dojos or masters or whatever, and learn new techniques. I like the fact you can swap out limbs and have new bio abilities based on the limbs that you choose and things. And I like the level of sense of humour. Some of these characters, I mean, look at the actual names of some of the characters that they interact with, or even some of the bosses that they come across. It looks freaking excellent. And you can see there's a little bit of multiplayer going on and a bit of PvP. At least I think that's what I was seeing there. It's hard to say, but that's what it looked like. And I love the fact that when you hit something, you get little sort of comic sort of pops. Kapow! Kapam! Chicka pow pow! You haven't seen Chicka pow pow, but that'd be awesome if there was a Chicka pow pow. There's all the little things, you know what I mean? But it looks like there's a lot of elements that make this game, and the actual world and the environment that looks fantastic. Again, it's quite sort of cartoony-esque. You probably get the idea that I do like the cel-shaded or cartoony sort of games. I do. But I do also like things like Cyberpunk. It's the realisation of the world that they're trying to put across, and I really like this sort of world that they're putting across here. What I would say though is, you see that terrain? It looks very flat in a lot of places that I'm looking at this game. It looks a little bit flat. There's not sort of much variation, especially like on the boss battles. I mean, look how flat that is. In the distance draw, you can see that there's hills and things. Can you reach those hills? I think you can, because in other elements and other parts of this gameplay trailer, you actually see them scaling rock faces, and there's a little bit where he sprouts wings and he's actually gliding around the actual landscape, which looks amazing. And I'm loving the fur effects on all these creatures. The fur and the hair looks fantastic on these creatures, and the grass and everything else looks great. And look, there's storm effects too, so I don't know whether those storms are just going to roll in or whether there's just certain maps that are always stormy, but I'm hoping they're just going to roll in and they're going to appear procedurally. I'm hoping this world feels as alive as the creatures. I mean, look how cool the creatures look. The boss fights are freaking epic. So yeah, I've got a lot of hope for Biomutant, and I'm loving all this sort of weaponry that you can pick up. And you can see there it mentions about the damage. It shows you all sort of stat bars and things, so it's not all just numbers. You've got the actual visual representation with the bars, which I love that sort of stuff, because yeah, sometimes an image can say more than 1,000 words. And the actual weapons look like you can swap bits in and out as well. So not only your character, you can swap out limbs and things. It almost looks like you can do that with the weapons. Can't say for sure again. Some of these abilities look freaking mental. I mean, what the fudge was that all about? This is a bit that I'm on about, where he scales the rock face and then sprouts wings and glides off. So it does look like it's a fully explorable and immersive world that they've actually set about. And that you could see that there was pylons, there's sort of relic areas. So it almost looks like there's bits of ancient technology in a dystopia sort of world, or a post-apocalyptic world. I mean, I don't know what's happened, but I can't wait to jump into the story of this, to find out how you come across sort of like Kung Fu masters, like the good old Honky there. What's that his name? What the fudge is that all about? But I like that. It's funny as. But yeah, and there you go, choo choo chug. I mean, that's the sort of way I talk, you know, like Birdieman bird, choo choo chug. Yeah, I think I could have a lot of fun with getting myself immersed in this world. I think this ticks all the Captain Steve boxes. I mean, the reason I really liked Monster Hunter World is you've got this little like sidekick, which is like this little cat type creature that accompanies you wherever you go, and you get to play as this little cat type creature in this game, which is freaking ace. And some of the actual combat styles and some of the actual kung fu poses that you see them do, it's like there's one bit where there's a giant pole and he just sort of sticks to the side of it. It looks freaking awesome. And look at this, like a giant death slide down to a big crash plane. You see, that's what I mean. It looks like ancient tech. I don't know whether they've inherited the Earth from the human world, and we're going to learn about that, or whether it's all just set in this sort of mutant society. I have no idea, but I can't wait to jump into this game and find out how this all came about. You can see there was a whole town being sucked into the ground, and this giant turtle creature under the water is freaking massive. It looks like you're actually in some sort of vehicle here, like some sort of squid sub. What the fudge? Mind-blowing stuff. I'm wondering if there's going to be other vehicles in that. I mean, we did see him riding a mount right at the very start of the gameplay trailer. So I think there's going to be mounts, there's going to be vehicles, there's awesome weaponry. Looks like there's destructible environments, brilliant character design, beautiful world design, and the ability to go underwater, some mixed biomes, hopefully loads of exploration, secrets to find, we can only but hope. It just looks like this. This is the game I've been waiting for, people, and I'm hoping it comes out before the end of the year or in 2021. But you know, with every sort of thing that we've had going on so far, there's been so many different delays. It's like what's happened to Beyond Good and Evil 2. See, I want to bring Beyond Good and Evil 2 to the channel as well, but that sort of just slipped off the radar. But the actual maker of that, at Ubisoft, has actually said that it's been left in good hands. He's gone off to some wildlife sanctuary or something, I don't know, and left the game to be devved by the actual team. And apparently it's coming on leaps and bounds, and it should be with us, hopefully in 2021 or early 22. Who knows? But yeah, Beyond Good and Evil 2 is something that I also want to feature on my channel. I've also got my eye on Jet to the Far Shore, which looks quite good. It looks very sort of No Man's Sky-esque. If you haven't seen Jet to the Far Shore, just take a look on Google or YouTube or whatever. That's another game I've got my eye on. But yeah, Biomutant, I will put a link to this full gameplay trailer at the top of the screen right now, so you can hit that up if you do want to listen to the trailer in full and have a better look at this game. Because I mean, look at it. It's freaking epic. It looks awesome. Look at this little pose right here. Freaking ace. The three-headed creature. Awesome. I've said the word awesome too many times when it comes to Biomutant. I think you can sense the amount of excitement that I've got for Biomutant. And I'm really hoping, you know, these giant faunas or boss battles, it looks like that is the main sort of part or element of this game. Now, I don't know whether killing a certain boss will unlock some sort of bio traits for your character, but I'm hoping that's the way that it's all been integrated, and I'm hoping that's a gameplay mechanic, and that I really can't wait to actually get my hands on this and play it. It looks like Stitch from Lilo and Stitch, but evil. Freaking love it. So yeah, there's the mount again, so it's another sort of vehicle in a roundabout way. It makes you wonder how many sort of mounts you can have as well. But look at that world. That looks beautiful, and if that's fully explorable, I honestly can't wait to get on it. And you can see there it says coming when we're happy with it, and I like that as a statement, but hopefully it's going to be 2021. If I have any news, I'll be sure to inform you. Okay. Third and final game that I'm going to cover in this video of things that I'm hoping to come to my channel is a bit of an odd one. This is Harry Potter, and it's I kind of think that the leak could have some sort of truth to it, but I'm liking the fact that you get to create your own student, your own look, you get to choose which house you want to be part of, and perhaps the events that you to do in there. Maybe it's house versus house, or almost like guilds right from the off. And I'm hoping that is a big mechanic that's actually built into this. I mean, again, I'm going by this Reddit link and information that's been filtering out from different sort of avenues and things that I can find online, which, you know, take it with a pinch of salt. But if you head on over to Avalanche's actual feed on Twitter, they have said that they feel that this may actually come out in 2022, not 2021, which is a bit of a shame. I mean, I've added it to my watch list on my PS5. So on the PS5 store, you can go in and you can add games that you want to follow and watch. So you get bits of news come up. And sadly, this one has been pushed into 2022. But it is something that I've got my eye on. I'm hoping to bring you news through 2021 of this, and I'm hoping to reach out to Avalanche in some way, shape or form and ask for an early access key for PS5 if I can get my hands on it, if I'm lucky enough. I've already approached the makers of Tribes of Midgard to say, can I get onto early beta, and they did come back with a positive sort of sounding answer to say, if we can, we will, sort of, in a way. So we'll see how that goes. But Tribes of Midgard, if you're watching, heck yes, I really would like to get onto early access if possible. And yeah, and same with Biomutant. You know, makers of Biomutant, I would love to get onto that early and do some game testing, even if I have to sign some sort of NDA. You know what I mean? But yeah, all these games I'm hoping to bring to my channel in 2021, if they get released in 2021. Who knows? I mean, look at Beyond Good and Evil 2. I mean, that's just sort of delay. Anyway, until next time, goodbye, and goodbye again. I want to say a massive, great big thank you for watching. If you like what you see, please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. And thank you to my backers over on Patreon and on YouTube membership. If you do want to support this channel, you could just not skip my adverts. That throws revenue down my avenue. Or stay with Captain Steve a little bit longer and hit something on this screen. Heck yes, and there's also merch on this screen now. Awesome!